That was a good build up.
Better, better, better.
Hi everybody, my name is Jessica Holyfield. I'm a professional dancer, professional dance choreographer, and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States. And we're here taking a look at Babymonster's Batter Up dance performance. I'm excited about this for a couple of reasons because I had been seeing all week on my feed that they have debuted, but there was no dance practice and I really was holding out until today to be able to take a look at this from a choreographic lens. I've heard so many mixed reviews about this debut, anywhere from it sounds like, a ChatGPT of Teddy's produced work, from, all the way until they're tailoring to a different type of audience, trying to cater younger. I've heard the whole slew of controversy with this debut. So I'm gonna do my best to try to remain as objective as possible, strictly looking at the musicality and how the movement to music vibes well together in terms of the type of track it is. So we're gonna go ahead and check it out.
Attention!
That was a good build up. Nice moments of energy here. They do captivate. But do I think that there's anything about this that makes them stand out in some way, shape, or form outside of other girl groups? Honestly, no. It's, but also it shows that they don't have this, they're not giving off rookie energy either, though. Do you know what I mean? In a sense of making mistakes or not engaging. Okay. I really feel like the fact they're all in really short shorts and skirts, you can tell they're not comfortable in some of these groups because of that. So, in general, it really just gives off a typical K-pop track. It doesn't really feel like a debut or anything in particular. I would say there's pros and cons to that. Whenever you look at a group and they're like, this is our debut, this is the first time that we're looking at them as a sense of a group, as well as what makes them stand out as a group. Because now we're learning, especially nowadays, the company that you come from does have some leverage to help you, but a lot of it's not top 3 anymore. Hive has entered the chat, you know what I mean? So it's not just JYP, SM, and YG like it used to be in them Gen 2, Gen 3 days. We got Hive up in here. So I feel like when it comes to debuts of groups, I really feel that YG is, I mean, people said they're the reduce, reuse, recycle entertainment agency, but I would say that all of the agencies have fingerprints of what they choose to recycle because it works for them. I'm not blaming the dancers or the members of this group for their debut. I think they did the best they could, honestly. And I know that there used to be 7 and now we're looking at 6. Very impressed with the formation adjustments. I don't know when the shift happened of going from 7 people to 6, but they did a great job on maintaining symmetry, making it feel like it was always supposed to be a group of 6. But also, no, I know they made a huge impact on their pre-debut things. I was not a part of any of that, so I'm really coming in. This is the first time I'm seeing them in general. So going back to my initial thoughts though, with their outfits especially, if you notice, all of them have really, really short shorts or skirts. You do you on that, but also I feel you can tell that some of these grooves are more restricted or they modified them for the sake of what they're wearing. And for me, I always prefer for your performers to be in more comfortable outfits in order for them to feel that they can present themselves more physically in the engagement of their moves. So that's an overall note that I would give to the people affiliated on the team of Babymonster, not quite them. They did the best that they did, you know. I think that the song, it feels typical. It does remind me of, if you think of Teddy's, all of his produced work, because I used to be a heavy Gen 2 fan of like Big Bang and 2NE1 respectively. I'm very familiar with who Teddy is. It really feels like they took all of his tracks and then they put it in an AI software and they said, okay, make a girl crush track. And this is what it would be. I like it. I don't dislike it, but do I think that it's this incredible thing? No, I don't. I don't think it's like, oh my gosh, my life has changed. I think it's a typical girl group is what it reminds me of, but I do know a lot of people had high expectations of this group, and I feel like a lot of people are very disappointed because of the things that I had already mentioned. I wouldn't blame them for that though, you know. The energy here's, I really do like the energy of them trying to have these moments of isolation with the chest. It's fun. Also, if somebody was saying that they're trying to tailor to a younger group, part of me really wishes that that may not be the case because of what they're wearing. I am very much an advocate for please do not overly sexualize minors, and I don't know their age. If they are minors, I would kind of have like a pink flag on this, not quite a red flag, but I'd be like, yo, let's be mindful of what we're wearing. Their choreography wasn't overly sensual in any way. I just think what they're wearing, they just don't feel comfortable as they would be, even with the safety shorts, you know. So but having this nice little smeeze they did, I really feel like that energy though wasn't quite as, it feels more chill in this setup. And the lighting is really cool, having the slide here, and that rebound is really nice. Camera work helped with this. Great performance to the camera. I do appreciate and I enjoy that. I do like how they chose to transition this. But it does feel like one of our girls, out of those 2 girls that we saw, the one that is on my left, it's on the right side of the other dancer. I feel that she appeared like she was marking a little bit more in her upper body in comparison to the one nearest to the front. I feel I saw her the most out of everybody, but it could be because she's a main vocalist potentially, and I know she was a rapper. Maybe she's a rapper. And I don't know if they still do roles anymore. Anyway, but having this energy here, I like that she has this moment of being featured and they get to accent using their head. And also I like the fact that their hair's down. It's kind of nice. And their hair is very similar, just different colors. I think even little things like that really help promote symmetry. And I like it. And I do like the simplicity of the background, and noticing that we actually had a 4th person. I didn't realize him until she was able to have a moment and they were able to hold her down for that. So that was really fun to see that. And then naturally having your next feature ready to go. So that was a really great formation and visual choice that they chose to do. I love that too. Da da boom, framing it up and down. Really great choice, having them framed towards the inside. Even though I'm really focusing on the feature here, the camera's focusing on the feature, they do a really good job of making everybody else help with that. Because peripherally, because notice they're more blurry here, and you only have your feature, you know, that's clear. It still helps whenever you see even the visuals or the linear extensions, they still frame and tailor because it feels like it's a full package, not just we're relying upon the camera to get a point across. So having this energy is nice, having them go up and down and kind of bleed it down a little bit more, noticing that she kind of takes her arms over and out. Could be a camera thing. My personal suggestion would be to have her go really high with her arms or to go really low because the midline is already established. So it kind of feels like we're covering up my other girls here, or, you know, because they're all lowering. So if her hands were slightly different, we wouldn't be covering up as many faces, but to each their own. It's not quite like a deal breaker on that. I like that pop down and then everybody has their moment up. And this is one of those little things we're noticing here that's, you know, so I get that. I like this wherever they have kind of an archway she's grabbing. There's still a sense of connection between all of them. There wasn't any point where it felt like our feature was disconnected from the rest of the performers. And I do prefer that as well. When you look at a group, I really like the group feeling like a group, even when somebody is a soloist within that group. It just feels very cohesive. It feels very unified and it feels very communal. And I really do like so far, based on what we're analyzing, that we don't show any symptoms of isolation in a negative way. So I do like this. They framed out to the side, they framed up, noticing that there is an arch in the back. It creates a more feminine energy, and she's also creating it here. So they're all doing a great job in going out, framing up, and having a center point through. So it's like I've mentioned already, I mean, we've only seen 5 in the cut in the shot here. But having somebody directly behind her, that's the downside you have when you operate with an even number group, which is why most groups typically debut in odd numbers, because when you have a one-person feature, in an even number situation, you're running into this problem that we are seeing, because right now I'm seeing mostly odd number energy here, but it's because there's somebody that's always behind somebody else, and those always can be issues in the long run. But whenever you notice with odd numbers, you don't have that problem as much because it's symmetrical on both sides. So they're sacrificing people's screen time for the sake of symmetry, which is a choice you have to make sometimes. And of course we get to see them because it's just 6, because even there you notice I have no idea who that was, you know, and I know most of you are like, oh my gosh, Jessica, how do you not know? Remember, this is my first time seeing them and I'm just going off of my features. I know it's one of my dancers, they're all wearing camo. I really like the complementary of some of their fits. Just like I've said already, I really feel like them wearing joggers or something of even these materials, just make it a jogger form, would have carried so much more. It would have carried so much stronger, I think, for them having to compromise a lot of what they're wearing from what they're wearing. Yeah, so that was like that little kick to drop, you know, having this little tiger energy here. Yeah, so it's cute. So I feel like she's one of our main individuals here, because we've seen she gets the most screen time, it feels like, and also she's more on the center. But her energy is great. I love that too. Da, da, da. So that was nice, having her go mid, having somebody go high, and then having them go low. That was good. They're pretty clean. Give them credit for that. They're pretty clean on this. Love that moment. Ooh, and then they dig and dig. Right. So it's nice to see. Da, 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 da. Yeah. But I do feel like this build up here, a lot of it is tailored more towards a central kind of groove in comparison to really creating more energy from these pushes and these pulls of the chest. That's just my one note through that. But I still feel like it's pretty clean. They do establish some good levels. The build up, that was a nice moment. I don't mind the simplicity of the room. I know this room has been used for many other things, so people would have issues with it. For me personally, I haven't done a ton of YG specific analysis outside of being a fan back in my heyday of being a teenager. But in the analysis part of what I do now, I haven't really been exposed to too many groups that have used this room, so that's why it's not as big of a problem for me as it may be for somebody else who's analyzed tenfold what I have. But if you do notice, even here, there's somebody chilling right behind her. but she pulls around, so they're able to, at least with some of those instances, take advantage of that opportunity to have more of this peekaboo, hey, I'm here, having this intensity. That bada bada. Now this bada bada up part, of course, we know it sounds like, you know, with the bona bona from Treasure, all that whole shebang. I'm not really going to talk about that as much, like I've mentioned, but the concept of batter up, a lot of kind of the fonts that have been used, a lot of how it's been displayed. I really feel like going with a more baseball theme or using more baseball influence in this could have possibly helped make it more cohesive to the type of track it is. I don't know, because it does feel a bit disconnected from the wordplay and the movements that they're doing to what they're wearing. It could just be a cultural thing, but with textures and dynamics, that is something that you do have to think about sometimes. And maybe, you know, I don't know, there could be a disconnect between what they're wearing here to what the music video is. Remember, I hadn't seen it. Having this energy here, that better up, like it's nice, you know, it's pretty decent, and it's going to be a good challenge. I've already seen, here's the thing, you cannot discredit the fact that there's already so much influence, regardless if people like or dislike this. It's very viral. They're getting a lot of money off of this right now. So good marketing, bad marketing is still marketing. So I would say, regardless if people are fans of them or not, a lot of people are going to check them out just from the sheer interest and curiosity of, are they going to continue to reduce, reuse, recycle, or are they going to have their own identity and image? I don't think Blackpink, when I see this, like I'm going to be honest, I was more upset because I was a fan back in Gen 2 times when 2NE1 disbanded and Blackpink debuted. This right here, a lot of people are upset because we're seeing the same thing happen. Babymonster debuts, Blackpink but remember though, Blackpink was a 4-member group, 2NE1 was a 4-member girl group. So this doesn't bother me nearly as much as the Blackpink 2NE1 situation did, because people were saying the same thing about how, oh, this song could have totally have gone to Blackpink, has a Blackpink tone. Okay, cool. But also some of Blackpink's earlier stuff sounds just like it would have gone to 2NE1. Actually, there were reports that there were certain tracks that Blackpink had way back in the early inception of their debut year that were originally 2NE1s that were no longer 2NE1s. They were demos. So that's like factual there. So my point in all this is, because I'm no longer in, like, I understand if fans, and I empathize with the fans of the YG groups, because for me, I really feel like YG, or the entertainment agencies in general, I really wish they were more mindful of really honing in and really focusing on what makes the group's color as a group and as an aesthetic, and not just as a marketing ploy or as just sheer entertainment, you know. But they're called an entertainment agency. It's a business, and this is their product. You have to think about it that way. These are humans. Yes, this is also their job. So there's a good chance we're going to be exploring other concepts pretty soon, especially based on the backlash that was received from this concept. But moving on from there, it's like, you know, better up. It's nice movement. I can just tell that some of them do not feel super comfortable doing some of them because of what they're wearing. I kind of already talked about it. The clap was nice, matches the energy well. This was fun. Yeah, you know, and then bleeding over. Next people, I like the formation choice where she bleeds it out with one person and then somebody else joins in from a different diagonal. That was really fun. That was nice. Everybody hit here and she was hit loud. She hit her own wordplay and then she tied it in with everybody else. My one note for that though is, notice she was kind of here. I really wish she would have pulled up into that full extension a little bit sooner, but it was still really fun to see. Yeah, and then having this little camera play right here was really fun moment. That right there, what's really funny is that little movement right there. And the only reason why I'm picking this up is because I had just recently finished, probably not even a week, of an entire 17 reaction. I've seen every single 17 performance in terms of dance practice, not concerts or anything, but like their dance practices or performance clips. And in their fighting, they do this transition here. So I find that funny that I see this here. But no, they don't claim that. No, it's not just theirs. But I am making that connection that I have seen that before. But it is fun seeing it done in this way, though. It's a little different. I like that. Boom, 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 boom. I really feel that for them, having, you know, it did feel a little bit more placed. It didn't have that like, you know, that nuance or that aesthetic, that griminess that normally you see with that type of groove. So that would be my note there. Notice their spacing's just a little bit off. Some of them are closer together. Some are a bit more spaced out. Some of them also have more of a 90-degree angle lift of the legs. Some have them closer together. So that will be my overall note too. Yeah, da-da-da-da-da-da. Like, move out of my way. I love it. Nails are cool. That was cool. Cool moment, especially with her nails. That was a really nice option here. Notice here, my one note, we do have one of these two over here don't quite on the same page as my other three. So if all of them were doing the exact same thing, this would be a gorgeous visual, but because they just don't feel like they're on top of that particular move as well. So that would just be a cleanliness note to put there. I like that mirror. That was fun. Fun moment. I would say the rap sections are really nice. Great choice of choreography. Nothing too crazy, especially if they're going to perform this live. You want to factor that in. We are seeing this a lot. I don't know if there's a particular, like, the name of the fandom. I don't know if that's been established yet or not, and I don't know if it has anything to do with this. I do know some groups have, you know, more like a vampire concept like in Hyphen or a wolf concept like XG. So I'm not sure, and I don't want to assume either just based off of the name or anything, but I'm wondering if this is a sense of maybe wordplay in the lyricism. We do see that as like a little Easter egg throughout the track. Having it go down. I love that moment. She goes and she hops off, and then having them all frame out to the side. Now that was a nice moment, having one of them travel to the back and then having this moment here with creating this these shapes. But notice this shape over here, it feels like it's a little bit more of a diagonal, so that would just be a slight note, because even though it's blurry, it is still framing your feature. And I think of just having that super clean on both sides, very much established like how low you need to go, it would really make that properly framed a little bit more effectively. I love that here. Duh. That was nice. That was a nice little walk, and then having her get right back into that formation was a really cool choice to see here. That was nice where she throws it and everybody drops it down and brings it up. Yeah, and then having this whoo. So that was a good moment, that whoo, da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, and the bleed through with the arms, that was fun, having the every other. Nice dynamic choice. Bleeding through here. Now the build up, the lights help with this, but also know too that they are choosing to use their chest a little bit more in that transition into building up the pre-chorus again, because even though it is similar, it's similar compared to the first pre-chorus, you want to continue to build and create this ebb and flow in your track. You want to keep people captivated. I do think the second verse was more captivating than our first verse, and out of the two, I think it's better to place more captivation in your second verse sometimes, because a lot of times that's where dead space in tracks can be, like a throwaway verse. But it was nice that we got to see some intentionality there. So we've already kind of seen that choreo, slightly different formation. I like that choice. And then they have the batter up here. Yeah. And I like that. Boom, they look. That was really nice. I like the hold there. And they caught the beat when they wanted to catch it. It was nice. It showed that they are not rushing or anticipating, that they're riding their own track. And that's always a really good sign to see. And we gotta also take note too, some of their choices they make with their arms are a bit tricky to get clean or to have everybody on the same page. I mean, I have this pause here. Some of them are more on a cleaner scale on their range than others, but it's still really nice to see here that at least everyone's got the proper foot. We're placing our weight on the right part of our foot. So it's little things like that. I am really impressed at the fact that we're not seeing as many discrepancies in the arms as I've seen in other groups. So that's a really impressive thing to note here. Transitioning over was really nice, having that bada, bada, and then we're back here. But once again, it's just an ongoing note that will continue to be the case whether or not they have their 7th member return. I know there's like a whole thing with that, conspiracy theories and whatnot. If they have their 7th member, a lot of these problems are naturally going to be fixed. But if they maintain with 6, my hope is that we don't hide as many dancers or add as many performers as we normally are seeing. Sometimes I think what I've noticed is some groups, when they do have an even number, when they have backup dancers, they make it to where it'll end up symmetrical and on both sides to help make it easier for them to properly frame without compromising a position of their member. So I do like that. I noticed that the energy there. I don't know if they were trying to do more of a legato with the chest into a head ISO. Not sure. I think that needed to be a tad bit cleaner in order for us to really clearly see what they wanted to do there. Yeah, so it's like boom, da da, da clean, and they threw it. So it looked like they were just nodding and lowering. So I may just test it up to that. If they were really trying to do a head ISO, then that would be my note. We really weren't seeing that isolation or the fixed point portion of the head ISO. So that would just be my note. If they were doing that, be clear on where you're choosing to create that fixed point with the chin and the head into the neck transition. But if they were just doing like a poke forward with the hinge down, it looked fine. Having the energy, dropping it down. That's another example of normally with that kind of groove, you see a really big, heavier pocket explored. Right there, it felt a bit contained. And I think that's my overall note, but I've already said why. This part of the music right here, it really feels, it does have, I understand why people are like, oh, this feels like Blackpink, because a lot of Blackpink tracks have that everybody singing section. They're like da da da, but also 2NE1 had that, Big Bang also had that, Treasure I bet you has it. I would say maybe Icon may have it. I feel like that's a YG thing that we see, just like SM. They used to be the kings and queens of the boxes, the music video boxes. It's a whole thing. I don't even know if they still do that anyway, but I'm saying like each entertainment agency, we can't be picking out one's faults without bringing everybody to the table, you know? So, I mean, this does have more of like a cheerful, gregarious, happier, upbeat version of that more intense girl crush that we normally see from a YG track, specifically with Blackpink. But I like that little da-da-da-da-da. Really nice that they had that switch of the feet. It was more abrupt with that more super chill layup kind of arm position, which was really fun. That was like da 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 na na na. Yeah, just having the feet glued together for that section. Better up, 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 up. That was nice. And they go down with a little pump in there, with a more unified. It is nice to see here. That was fun. Da da da. That's a little more placed with the arms. So they've done a good job near this tail end. It was really enjoyable. And they still have the choreo, batter up, da 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 da. So they're keeping you high. This is really good for an arena style kind of concert space for staging. You have people all around you. It's a really nice choreography to structure to surrounding your fan base, not just the front part. So nicest part. I will say though, I don't know if she got her own lyrics right. Hold on. Yeah, let me show you who we are. And I don't think she mouthed show me who we are. I don't think she did that, but we're gonna triple check. Yeah, I don't think she got her own lyrics right, but that's okay. Sometimes part of me would blame the editor on that too, whereas sometimes they take certain excerpts of different parts of the track and they put them there. I mean, that's just kind of the way of life sometimes. Let's just. And then they have it up, up. And also notice the spacing's just slightly off. Notice there's a little bit bigger gap, a little bit smaller gap here. I do like how they finish though. It's fun, really nice. I would say my overall big note with this specifically is the fact that there was a lot of one behind the other in the center. There wasn't very much of the splitting center that was happening. A lot of times you do see groups try to meet in the middle, and when they do V's, they have a split center situation. But this one, most of the time, it looked like I was looking at a group of 5 because somebody was always covered. Now, they did use it to their advantage to some extent, but my note still remains, I would hope in the future, because I do plan on following all groups that I take a look at comeback-wise. I try to keep them on my schedule to continue to look, because I really like seeing growth or seeing shifts of energy and concepts with them. I feel like I get to grow as an individual looking at different groups in that way. But that's just my big note that I'm looking forward to seeing be modified or see a different perspective of them for their next, if they do a comeback or if they, things of that nature. I don't know how fifth generation works anymore with some of these things. I don't know if they do a comeback, if they just release a track and it is what it is, it's a mixtape. I don't know. But this was not, here's the thing, this was not bad. It wasn't. It was clean. I would say a lot of things that people are dogging this group on have nothing to do with the group and everything to do with the agency that they represent. And I feel like a lot of people are targeting the agency, but at the expense of them. So I feel like they worked hard, based on just what I've gleaned from excerpts, and the fact they have so much support stems from people have seen their hard work. I know that there was a lot of last minute circumstances that took place where there was probably a lot of prep work going in. Somebody was no longer a part of it. They had to make modifications. Going from a group of 7 to a group of 6 is a lot trickier than you think it is, especially when it comes to parts, it comes to line distribution, it comes from formations, dancing, the whole shebang. Having a group of 6 is different. And so I feel, I hope that we're able to see more Babymonster establish their own sound as a group versus always being compared to their predecessors, because I know that was Blackpink's issue from the forefront. And those of you who were like the original Blackpink fans, you would remember this, right? For me, I kind of stepped away from K-pop after 21 disbanded for myself, because I was like 18, 19 at that time. I just graduated high school, if that ages me in any way. And I was focusing on different things, and I wasn't as into the K-pop scene as much anymore. K2NE1 was really one of the main groups that I was following at the time. So anyway, but all that to say, the choreography looks fine. I really wish that they had outfits that set them up for more success, I think. But I am looking forward to seeing what happens in the future for them, and I'm hopeful that we get to see them grow or establish themselves as a group and not always be compared like what I've already mentioned. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope I was helpful in some way. If you want to see more K-pop content, whether that be Babymonster, 17, 80s, XG, the whole shebang, dance content in general, like Street Dance China, Street Fighter series from Korea, or D-League from Japan, I got a slew of that all over YouTube and Patreon. I have so much more on Patreon than you may realize, because how I operate with a lot of these K-pop groups, if they've been around for a long time, for instance 17, I've reacted to all of their stuff, and I only release a couple of reactions every comeback they have. So there's some things that may not come out for a whole year from now that you could watch early if you're a fan of any particular group that I have. That would be really cool to be able to be a part of discussions with you on that. But if you're totally okay with being patient and waiting, I'm totally okay with vibing out with you on YouTube as well. So I am Jess, and I will catch you on the flip side. Bye.